My name's Claire Maxwell. I'm the captain of the Scottish netball team and I also play for Strathclyde Sirens. I've been really fortunate to play for the national team for over 10 years now. I have represented Scotland in 2 Commonwealth Games and 2 World Cups and played over 100 games for my country, reaching 104 caps at the recent World Cup in Liverpool. I'm really delighted to answer some of your questions for Women in Sports Week. To start off with, the first question is, what was my involvement in sport? So as I've mentioned, I'm a netball player. When I was younger, I played numerous different sports. As I got to the age of 16, I decided to solely focus on netball. By that point, I'd been in the performance pathway for netball. I got selected for my district initially, which was Aberdeen. And then from there I progressed to the under-17 national squad, under-19s, under-21s, and then to the senior squad. From the senior squad I started off as one of the youngest ones, and now I'm the captain of that squad. It's been a full journey for me and I've loved every single moment. The next question I've got is from Poppy. How did you have the courage to go into a club? Well, for me, I've always loved sports and I come from a sporty family. So going to a club was quite natural for me. I went to numerous different clubs as a youngster, not just netball. Now, for many people, joining a netball club is actually quite scary and daunting. Now, my best advice is to try and just be brave. Have the courage, step outside your front door and give it a go. If you don't like it, you don't need to go back. But I can guarantee there'll be a sport out there that you'll absolutely love. And you'll make friends for life and have experiences that you'll never forget. Sport is a wonderful thing. Kate has the next question, and it's about how many days and hours a week I train as a national netball player. Now, as a national netball player, many people are surprised by how much training we have to do. We do 3 strength trainings a week. That involves getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning and completing it at the Institute Gym in the middle of Glasgow. We also do 2 conditioning sessions, which improves our cardiovascular endurance and makes sure we're as fit as we can be for a game of netball, 1 speed session and 2 to 3 court sessions a week. In addition, during the season, we would also play a game. We play in the English Super League, so quite often that involves us getting on a flight and going down south to play a top team from England. My next question is from Calvin. Do you have a sporting idol? For me, I've got numerous sporting idols. I've got one in the netball world, which is called, her name is Laura Langman, and she is superb. She's top class in everything she does. Not only is she a good netballer, she's also a good person off the court. She's the ultimate all-rounder, and that's who I aspire to be. A good netballer, but a good person. Both equally as important. In terms of other sporting idols, I would have to say someone like Andy Murray is right up there. He shared his story with everyone, his tough times, his great times, his losses, his wins, and yet he still trains extremely hard to be at the top of his game, despite numerous injuries, many people saying he couldn't do it. He's been world number 1 and was the first British player to win Wimbledon in several years. Andy Murray, for me, is one of the Scottish all-time heroes for sport. The next question is from Rosie. Do you ever think about giving up when you face a setback? If you did, how did you overcome these thoughts? Now, the biggest setback I've had is actually 2 operations. So I've had 2 operations on my feet. One was when I broke my foot, and the second was a full ankle reconstruction, which happened just before the Commonwealth Games in 2014. We had just got a new coach, so I was really nervous and very keen to impress. I was under pressure to get back in time for the European Championships, which was the first competition we'd done under that coach. I really wanted to perform because I was scared if I wasn't there, someone else would take my spot, because we've got so many talented netballers in Scotland. I trained extremely hard in the background and put all my energy into being the best version of me. That involved numerous hours of training away from my teammates, training on my own, strengthening my ankle to make sure I could come back stronger and fitter than ever before. I used any negative thoughts that I had as fuel to make sure I pushed myself to be the best I could be. It's natural to have doubts, everyone has them. Even the top level performers, Even me, as a captain of my country, I have doubts. I question if I'm good enough. But it's how you use that. How do you change your mindset to make sure you're positive going into the game? The next question I have is from Sam. What have been the high points of my journey? Without a doubt, the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow in 2014 was the best experience I've ever had. It was playing in front of my family and friends in front of a full stadium here in Glasgow. It was the first ever Commonwealth Games that the national netball team has competed in. Before that, we've never qualified. So it was actually a moment in history, and I was one of the lucky 12 players to step out and represent my country. The very first game, walking out, the flag was raised, we were playing in front of a full crowd, and we won that game. It's memories I'll never forget.